It begins with a simple train ride, nothing out of the ordinary, until one passenger reveals he's far from normal. Within moments, a group of armed men are taken down like it's routine. On the surface, he lives a quiet life, working as a driver and keeping to himself. But that calm doesn't last. When someone close to him is brutally murdered, he steps back into a world he left behind. What follows is a calculated pursuit, where every step is planned, and every enemy is already one move too late. The movie starts on a train heading toward Istanbul. Among the passengers, we focus on a man with a long beard and a cap, dressed like a typical local. He appears to be reading, but he's actually watching a nearby family, a father, a mother, and their young daughter. This man is Robert McCall in disguise. After a while, the father gets up and heads toward the dining car. Robert follows and casually starts a conversation. When asked why he's in the country, Robert says he's looking for a Turkish man who married an American woman, had a daughter with her, and later turned abusive, eventually bringing the child to Turkey by force.
Kidnapped his own daughter, an abusive man. So no intention of returning the child.
The father realizes Robert is talking about him. He doesn't react openly, but as he leaves, he subtly signals one of his men. It quickly becomes clear he's not alone. His men move in to deal with Robert, but it's a mistake. Robert, a highly trained former Marine, takes them down with ease. Afterward, he returns and sits across from the man, as if nothing happened. Adjusting his sleeves, Robert asks him to choose, either the usual pain or something far worse. The scene fades to black. The story then shifts to Robert driving through the city in a black car, now working as a ride driver. He pulls up to pick up his next passenger, an elderly man named Sam, who is trying to track down his long-lost sister. During the ride, Robert comes across as someone who likes to talk. He engages with his passengers while quietly observing everything around him. At the same time, we see the mother from the train, Grace, arriving at her lawyer's office. Inside, she reunites with her daughter, who is safe and unharmed. The two embrace, overwhelmed with relief. It's clear this was only possible because of Robert.
My baby.
Someone delivered your daughter to the desk downstairs.
Meanwhile, in Brussels, a man named Calbert returns home. He walks in, expecting to see his wife, but instead finds her sitting there, shaken and covered in blood and bruises. Before he can react, three men step out, and one of them shoots her in the head. They force Calbert into a chair, shove a gun into his mouth, and pull the trigger.
This is happening. Open your mouth.
No.
The story then cuts back to Robert, continuing his work as a ride driver. He arrives for another pickup where a man helps a woman into his car. Something feels off. She looks weak, barely conscious. It becomes clear she has likely been drugged and assaulted. Later, Robert goes to the man's apartment and calmly tells him that the woman was taken to the hospital where multiple injuries were found. He gives him a chance to do the right thing. Instead, the man tries to attack him. Robert reacts instantly, using the man's card to slash him, then taking down both him and his friend within seconds, leaving them with broken bones. By now, it's clear Robert is not an ordinary man. Everything he just did took less than 30 seconds, showing his level of training and precision. After everything, Robert returns home. There he finds his old friend and former colleague, Susan, waiting for him. Susan tells him she's working on a murder case in Brussels involving a couple alongside her partner Dave. We also learn it's her birthday, something Robert had forgotten. She brushes it off and encourages him to get out more and not stay so isolated. The next day, Susan meets Dave, and the two review the case before flying out to Brussels. They visit the crime scene together, trying to piece things together. Later, Susan returns to her hotel room, but she's suddenly attacked from behind by two men. She fights back, but they overpower her and corner her in the bedroom. At the same time, Robert is talking to Miles Whitaker, a young kid repainting a vandalized wall in his neighborhood. The moment is interrupted when Robert gets a call from Brian. Susan has been killed. Robert immediately flies to Washington for her funeral and soon begins investigating her death. He reviews CCTV footage from the hotel and studies the crime scene in detail. Meanwhile, the two men who killed Susan are shown in their apartment. A phone rings, and as one of them answers it, a bomb goes off, killing them instantly. The explosion is revealed to have been orchestrated by one of the same three men involved in the earlier Belgium murder. Robert continues digging deeper. After studying the footage again, he meets Dave and shares his conclusion. Susan's murder wasn't random, it was planned. To understand why Susan was targeted, Robert looks into the case she had been working on before her death. As he pieces things together, he mentally reconstructs the crime scene step by step, trying to figure out what really happened. Eventually, he calls Dave and shares a key realization. The people behind the Belgium murders and Susan's death are connected. He also notices an important detail. Both attackers were left-handed.
Calvert was on his right side.
He was right-handed. Why?
Was shot by somebody left-handed. That's why she was killed, Dave.
Later, while working as a ride driver, Robert picks up another passenger. Something about the man feels off. He seems nervous and uneasy. Moments later, the man pulls out a knife and tries to attack. Robert reacts instantly. While still driving, he swerves to throw him off balance, strikes him, and then shoots him, all without losing control of the car. Afterward, he pulls over, takes the man's phone, and burns the car with the body inside to erase any evidence. The next day, Robert visits Dave and tells him about the attack, explaining that the man was connected to the same group behind the Belgium murders and Susan's death. He then places the recovered phone on the table and calls a number stored in it. As the call goes through, Dave's own phone begins to ring. In that moment, the truth becomes clear. Dave is behind everything. Robert had already figured it out, but wanted to give him a chance to explain. This time, Dave admits it. Dave explains that after years of feeling used and discarded by the government, he chose a different path and became a mercenary. The killings became part of that life. As for Susan, he admits he had no choice. She was getting too close and would have eventually uncovered his role in the Belgium murders.
Susan was gonna figure out who was in that dining room. They trained us to kill people.
After confessing, Dave introduces Robert to the three men who carry out the jobs, Ari, Resnick, and Kovac. What makes it more personal is that Robert once trained them back when they were all in the CIA. Facing them now under these circumstances only deepens the conflict. Right there, Robert makes it clear that he's coming after them for what they did to Susan. Soon after, Dave and his team decide to eliminate another loose end. They go to Brian's house, intending to kill him, but find it empty. Robert had already anticipated this and moved Brian to a safe location. Frustrated, they shift their focus to Robert's house. At that moment, Miles is there, repainting the walls. As soon as the men arrive, he senses something is wrong and quickly contacts Robert. From a distance, Robert accesses his home surveillance system and guides Miles, telling him to hide in a concealed room. Miles manages to get inside just in time. From behind a two-way mirror, Miles watches as Dave and his team search the house. Dave eventually notices the mirror and grows suspicious. Just as he's about to shoot at it, Robert calls him and says he's at a place they both know.
You know where I'll be.
It's a mistake to go to war with us, McCall.
That's enough to draw them away, and they leave the house. Believing it's safe, Miles steps out of hiding, but it's a trap. The men never left. They were waiting, and they quickly corner him, holding him at gunpoint. Meanwhile, Robert heads to a small town where he used to live. The place is being evacuated due to an incoming storm, leaving it quiet and empty, exactly the kind of setting he needs. Dave and his team force their way into the town, even killing a police officer on the way. They search Robert's old house but find nothing, then spread out across the area, still unable to locate him. Dave climbs a tower to get a better view and monitor the others as they continue searching. What they don't realize is that they've walked straight into Robert's plan. He has already set traps across the area, using the environment to his advantage. Kovac enters a shop, thinking he's found Robert, but is instantly killed when Robert fires a harpoon through his head. Ari goes after him next, but Robert gets to him first, taking him down in close combat. Resnick follows into another building, only to trigger a hidden trap that blows the place up, killing him. Now only Dave is left. From the tower, he scans the area with a sniper rifle and contacts Robert, revealing that Miles is tied up in the trunk of a car. He threatens to kill him if Robert doesn't surrender. He fires a few shots to draw him out, but nothing happens. Then he aims at the car and shoots, but at that exact moment, Robert hits the tire, shifting the angle and causing the shot to miss. As Dave looks around, trying to find him, Robert suddenly appears on the tower. The two fight. Dave tries to stab him, but Robert is faster, dodging the attack and gouging out his eye. He disarms him, takes the knife, and drives it into him. Then he finishes it, stabbing him in the abdomen, slicing his neck from behind, and throwing him off the tower. Dave's body crashes onto the rocks below and is swept away by the ocean. With the fight over, Robert goes straight to Miles. He finds him injured and in pain after being shot in the leg, takes him back to his house, and treats the wound. Later, Robert pauses for a moment looking at a photograph of his late wife, Vivian. As the story wraps up, Miles is seen on a bus heading to art school, starting a new chapter. During the ride, he meets a girl named Fatima, and the two begin talking. Back in the neighborhood, Fatima sees the finished wall painting, which reminds her of her home. On the opposite wall, a message is left behind: "I leave you with the best of myself." At the same time, Sam is reunited with his sister Magda thanks to Robert's efforts and the clues Susan had uncovered. Back in his old home, Robert stands quietly, looking out at the calm sea, and that's where the story ends.